Greetings and welcome to all to the episode of Wild and Life seminar series. This series has been organized by Small Mammals Conservation and Research Foundation SMCRF, and I am Swetcha Shrestha working as a project coordinator in SMCRF. Now I would like to officially begin the program with a short welcome remark from our current president, Suchita Shrestha. Over to you, Suchita Di.
Hello, namaste, everybody. I'm Suchita Shrestha, current president of Small Mammals Conservation and Research Foundation. Thank you so much, Sweksha, for introducing me. Actually, I'm very glad that SMCRF has started its new beginning of this seminar series, Wild and Life seminar series. And before this pandemic, SMCRF has so many avenues and platform for getting connected with our students, professionals, and everyone through trainings and seminars and various in-person meetings, and also some very interesting field walks, for example, bat nights and bird watching and everything. But now we have this pandemic, and it's going longer and longer, and we don't know how when it will be like very normal. So here we are. SMCRF is here now with its brand new seminar series, Wild and Life. And just to highlight the about the name of this seminar series, Wild and Life, that means that we will be talking about all the things that is related to wilderness, natural environment, and all the forms of life. We will be we will be talking about those things. And we also aim to cover the deliberation of conservation and research around this wild and life concept. So yeah, I think this platform will be very, very fruitful for everyone who wants to know more about small mammals, and also beyond that, those who are working on conservation issues. So this will be a very good platform, and I would like to welcome everyone that is here right now. And also, I would like to welcome today's special speaker, Dr. Hem, who was also the president in SMCRF. He's a very good friend of this organization. So yeah, please go ahead. I think this is for now, and I would like to hand over to Sweksha.
Thank you so much, Suchita Di. We are very fortunate to have such a personality who has been contributing in research of birds for more than a decade now. Today's speaker, Dr. Hem Bahadur Kotwal. Dr. Kotwal has been associated with SMCRF since 2012 as a volunteer and conducted several research and conservation works on birds and mammals, especially the pangolins. He completed his master's degree in 2013, while the dissertation was based on extensive research of Himalayan birds. He also worked as a program officer for CHAL, the project. He was appointed as a research officer and worked on Bengal Floricon, an urban bird monitoring program in bird conservation Nepal in 2015. He was awarded by CAS TWAS President's Fellowship for the PhD in Ecology in XTBZ Institute, Chinese Academy of Sciences, China in 2017. While obtaining his PhD degree, he worked for ecology and conservation of farmland birds in lowland of Nepal. He completed his PhD recently and has been awarded by several research grants and published more than 20 research papers. There is a global declination in farmland birds. Therefore, this study was conducted in 4 districts of Nepal's lowland to understand farmers' knowledge, attitude, and perception perception towards the conservation of farmland birds. Dr. Kotwal will be speaking about farmers' knowledge and threats to farmland birds today. Today's presentation is entitled as Time to Act, Farmers' Knowledge and Conservation Threat to Farmland Birds in Lowland Nepal. So welcome Dr. Hembadur Kotwal to Wild and Life Seminar Series, and thank you for being with us today. And before passing on to Dr. Kotwal, I have an announcement to make. For everyone's information, this session is being recorded. And if you like to ask questions regarding the presentation, please use chat option available just before the presentation is finished. Our speaker will try to answer as many as time allows. Now over to you, Dr. Kotwal. That you have been muted.
Thank you, Sweta and Sweta. Now I'm sharing my PPT. So again, Sweta, it is not working again.
Window.
Oh, window.
Yeah, no. I did same thing, but it is not going again.
Then you can share your entire screen.
Yes.
Yeah, you can maybe not. Yeah.
Sorry, my it's getting hang now. Maybe.
Yeah, you can share your window.
Just a minute. It's not working now. It looks
If
like
it's possible, if it's possible, you can email me the presentation and I'll share the screen for you. Is it okay?
Okay, first let me try. Then, if not, then I will do that. Yeah.
Yes, sure.
Just because now it's like not responding because I'm using the VPN, so sometimes the VPN gets out.
Oh, I see.
So maybe I should come back after some time, maybe because it's getting not working. Just a minute, okay? I'll be back. No, it is not working now.
Him.
Yeah.
Now, is it working now? Yes,
Yes,
it is.
yes.
It's coming?
Yes,
I'm not
yes, sir.
sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait.
Yeah, it's coming.
It's coming now?
Yes, sir.
Coming?
It's working. It's working.
So you can see my full screen or not?
No.
Yes. But
Yes?
it's like dark.
Dark?
Black.
Yeah, I mean,
What? Yes, so many screen came here, so I was confused. Okay.
okay, यस्तो गर M. M.
हजुर.
While a window ma click गर.
Okay. Now, done. Okay. I think it's working now, maybe. Okay.
Yeah, it's working.
It's working, yeah?
Yes.
Sound is also coming?
Yes, Ty.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Namaste to you all. And today I'm going to talk about the farmers' knowledge and conservation threats to farmland birds in Nepal. So this talk is based on my recently published paper on global ecology and conservation, and this is also the one of my PhD chapter where I have assessed the farmers' knowledge, perceptions, and its relations with the birds, and what are the threats and what are the conservation interventions needed for the farmland birds in Nepal. So let's have a short look on the status of agricultural lands and birds around the world. And there are around 38% of the land on earth is agricultural land, and mostly they are lie outside the protected area systems, and these agricultural land supports more than 20% of the global bird species. Similarly, they provide foraging and breeding habitats for these large number of the bird species. In turn, birds also provides ecological service to these agricultural lands. They help in pollination, they help in seed dispersal, pest control, and finally they help to increase the yield in the agricultural landscape. So there is a trade-off between birds and agricultural lands. But increasing anthropogenic activities worldwide, just for example, agriculture intensification, excessive use of pesticides, urbanization, climate change, hunting and trade, and felling of the large nesting trees has increased dramatically in this Anthropocene time. So all these has directly affected the bird population globally. So birds are declining globally from the farmlands, and there is collapse of the farmland bird population in Europe and the American countries. They have the long-term data on the bird population. So by analyzing their long-term data, it can be clearly seen that farmland birds populations are declining more than other species, more than forest species or other species. So we can see there's around more than 300 million bird population, farmland bird populations are already decline globally. So the threats are more in the developing countries. When we compare the threats, both threatened species and non-threatened species, they are both in the developing countries. And when we compare the threats based on the families of the birds, there is we can see that non-passeriformis birds means those bird species which are very large in size, they are getting more threatened than smaller size birds. So, in developed countries, as I said earlier, that farmland birds are declining globally. They have implemented different conservation schemes like agri-environmental policies or agri-environmental schemes to revive the declining populations of the farmland birds. However, there is always the question that are these conservation schemes sufficient to revive the declining farmland bird populations or not? Because some studies show that they are helping in some parts but not fully, because farmland birds still are declining globally, and the research clearly shows that trend. However, so what is the main reason behind the decline of the farmland birds? Although they have implemented different kind of the conservation schemes, the main reason is that there are very fewer studies that understands and that evaluates the knowledge and attitudes of farmers towards the farmland bird communities. So there is very fewer studies that actually determine the interactions between farmers and the bird communities. So let's see how is the scenario in South Asian countries, as there is no any specific conservation schemes to the farmers relating to the birds. So in this case, or in those countries where there is no any conservation schemes, the fate of the farmland birds completely lies in the farmers' knowledge and attitudes, because farmlands are usually outside the protected area systems, and there is less interventions of the government on these landscapes, and these landscapes are highly utilized by the human for different purposes. So there is need of understanding the farmers knowledge, attitudes and perception if we want to conserve birds in these heavily utilized landscapes. So let's see the status of farmland birds in South Asia. And in case of the South Asia, also there are many studies that shows farmland bird populations are declining in their range. However, in case of the Southeast Asia,
Excuse
there are
me. Dai, sorry for interruption, right? But your slides are not being changed. We all are on the cover page.
really. So how what to do then? Mm, I'm. Mm, it's still not changing.
It's not changing.
So what is the reason not changing?
Now it's changing. Now it's changing.
Now changing. Now changing or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Changing?
No.
No. Uh,
No.
Go on
Go on
presenter.
presenter view.
go on presented view. Where is it? Go on presented view. It's not changing now.
No, I think you can just click that slide presentation. Here it is.
I'm on slide presentation. Yeah. So is it changing or now or not?
Yeah, it's changed.
Change.
Now you can do it again. No.
Okay, changing.
No, it's not changing. We are on the different page, but
So
it's still not changing.
it's changing now.
No.
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 Okay, you can go on slide by slide. You can click the slide.
I'm clicking the slides now. Here it's changing here.
I see.
It's changing here. Stop saving once. Okay, one more try. Let's see. Is it changing now?
No.
No. What to do then? I'm confused.
Dai change भयो अहिले चाहिँ it's changing.
Changing?
Yes.
मैले उस अर्को भ्यूमा राख्दाखेरि चेन्ज भइरहेको छ अब मलाई लाग्छ उस भ्यूमा राख्दा चेन्ज नभएको कि के हो र
स्लाइड शोमा चाहिँ राख्न मिल्दैन जस्तो लाग्यो त्यही भएर चेन्ज भयो हजुरले त्यो 1 by 1 क्लिक गर्दा चाहिँ चेन्ज भएको देखिरहेछ
नाउ नट चेन्जिङ या
अहिले फेरि चेन्ज भएन
Okay, when you click त्यो सार्दाखेरि चाहिँ क्लिक भइरहेछ
अहिले यसो गर्दा चाहिँ क्लिक हुन्छ
हुन्छ हुन्छ हुन्छ
यसरी चाहिँ देखिन्छ सबै
हुन्छ देखिन्छ
फेरि यहाँ अर्को मेरो स्लाइडमा अलिकति प्रब्लम आउने रहेछ कि त्यसले गर्दा ओके खासै फरक पर्दैन ठिकै छ त्यसो भए वी क्यान ट्राई बाई दिस मेथड इफ इट इज वर्किङ चेन्ज भइरहेछ होइन changing or not?
Yeah, it's changing now. Yeah, changing. It's changing.
त्यसो यही उसमा म गरौँ त त्यसो भए
हुन्छ हुन्छ
ओके त्यो चेन्ज भएन भने फेरि भन्नु होला है okay this I will start from again this today's talk will be based on my recent paper published on global ecology and conservation this is also the one of my chapter of my PhD and agriculture there is around 38% of the total land as agricultural land and they are usually lie mostly outside the protected area systems and they support more than 20% of the global bird species and agricultural lands provides foraging and the breeding habitats to these bird species In turn, birds also provides ecological service to agricultural lands. They help in crop pollination, seed dispersal, pest control, and increases the yield. So, however, due to increase in anthropogenic activities, just like agricultural intensification, excessive pesticides, urbanization, climate change, hunting and trade, and felling of large nesting trees, has increased in the recent years. And all these activities has created or has declined the birds populations globally. So birds are declining globally, and there are more data from the European and the American countries because they have recorded bird species since a long time. So by analyzing the trend, it can be clearly seen that bird populations are declining in their areas, and farmland bird populations are declining more rapidly than other habitat specialist bird species, and around more than 300 million birds are already declining from the agricultural landscapes. So threats are more in the developing countries. So slide is changing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Threats are more in the
दाइ
yeah.
दाइ अलिकति जुम गरिदिनुहोस् है त्यो डेटाहरू चाहिँ अलिक क्लियर भएन भनेर
Is it okay? यो भन्दा जुम भयो भने
हुन्छ दाइ ठिक छ it's okay.
Okay, threats are more in the developing countries. Both threatened species and non-threatened species are found more in developing countries than the developed countries. And in the developing countries, when we categorize bird threats with according to the family wise, and it shows that large size bird species, that is non-passeriformis bird species, are highly threatened than the passeriformis species. uh, Passeriformis species. So in case of the global population decline, there are different conservation schemes applied globally, and there is always a question that these conservation schemes are sufficient to revive the farmland bird populations or not. And some of the recent studies shows that they are helping in some parts but not fully, because there are very few studies that actually determine or that actually focus on the knowledge and attitudes of farmland birds and farmers relations. So in case of the South Asian countries where there is no any specific conservation schemes relating to the farmers and farmland birds, in that case the fate of the farmland birds entirely lies on the knowledge and attitudes of the farmers, that is hands and minds of the farmers, because agricultural lands lie outside the protected area systems and they are extensively used by agricultural landscapes, and there is also the less influence of the government policies on agricultural landscapes. So there is need of understanding farmers knowledge, attitudes, and perceptions. So, in case of the South Asia or Southeast Asia, there are many studies that addresses the threats to the farmland bird communities, but still there is no any long-term data that can clearly show that farmland bird populations are declining. So, there are some studies just focusing on the threats to the farmland bird species, and that is even more in the Southeast Asia than South Asia. So in case of the Nepal, when we talk in case of the Nepal, around 180 species of the birds are categorized as farmland bird species, means those species that use farmlands or agricultural lands for breeding or foraging or resting. So, and of these species, around 12% are globally threatened. So these are the major organizations that are involved in bird research and conservation activities in Nepal. So, and there are also the lots of funding applied for the globally threatened species conservation in Nepal since 1982. This is the not the recent data, but still this shows that there are many funding applied to the threatened species in Nepal, and some of these belong to the farmland species. Most of them also belong to the farmland species. So by applying this much funding in Nepal, still threats are increasing in Nepal. When we analyze the national threat assessment of the species, that is from 1996 to 2016, it clearly shows that but threatened species are increasing from 1996, that is 129, to 2016 it reached to 167 species. So it clearly shows that farmland birds are total bird populations are declining, and of these threatened species also farmland bird populations are there are many farmland species. So studies lacks on the farmland birds communities because farmland birds are overlooked in Nepal. There is no detailed studies in Nepal about the farmland birds and their interactions with farmers' knowledge and attitudes. There is no any quantitative studies about the threats of the farmland birds in Nepal. We have studies. There are some studies that just says that okay, this is the threat, but there is no any quantitative data for that. And I have already said there is more investment on the threatened species that belongs to the farmland, but what are the knowledge gained by the farmers? How much knowledge is gained by the farmers? We still do not know about that. So we focus to understand farmers' knowledge on 15 farmland birds, for whether they have seen that bird species and correctly identification, nesting habitat observation, and population sorry and attitudes towards the farmland birds. Similarly, we also know their perception and existing threats to the farmland birds, and we also evaluated whether they have knowledge on current laws and regulations against bird hunting in Nepal or not. We hypothesized that farmers living within close to the protected areas recognize more species and have greater knowledge on conservation status, current rules and regulations against bird hunting than farmers living far away. So for this, we conducted our study in 4 districts of lowland Nepal, that is Kapilvastu, Chitwan, Sarlai, and Sunsari. And before this study, we have conducted or we have established a farmland bird survey program in Nepal in 2018 and 2019, and we had established 116 transects, and of 116 transects, there were 100 transects in farmlands, 18 river, and 18 forests. But in case of this study, we conducted our study only in the transects close to the settlements close to the farmland transects. So altogether we interviewed 99 villages or these cities, and there are 2 protected areas. One is Chitwan National Park, and another is the Kositabu Wildlife Reserve. So we also categorize Chitwan National Park and Kositabu Wildlife Reserve as a protected area and rest as a non-protected area, just to compare whether the knowledge or perception varies between protected areas and outside protected areas. So we performed semi-structured interviews with farmers in 2018 and early 2019, and in each village we interviewed 7 to 8 people in each village. So altogether we performed 743 interviews, and we asked about whether they have seen birds or not, and other what are the threats to the species. So for that we selected 15 bird species, that is 5 globally threatened bird species. This is Sarus crane, lesser azure, Indian spotted eagle, Asian woolly neck, and yellow-breasted bunting. And similarly the 10 common bird species, plum-headed parakeet, Asian openbill, cattle egret, black drongo, bush chat, paddy-pipit, black-winged kite, long-tailed shrike, and Asian pied starling, Eurasian collared dove. We selected these globally threatened and common bird species based on our farmland bird survey program, and also discussion with the bird experts in local area as well as in the from the central region, and also even in the international regions. So let's see how is the knowledge of the farmers on the farmland birds. So after interviewing, we found that only 63% of the farmers reported seeing only one of the 15 bird species. And of these 63 percent of the farmers, only 57% correctly identified their names. So from this figure we can clearly see that people had seen more parakeet species, and they identified more parakeet species, followed by the egret, dove, drungle, like that. So but although they 57% correctly identified their names, but that identification is only the group names, as a parakeet, as a dove, like that. So that is 92% farmers only identify the group names, and most of the farmers do not know. That is only 8% only knew the name of the bird species at species level. So they could not identify the bird species at species level. So, and similarly, the 30% of the farmers only had seen the nest of these birds in their farmlands. Similarly, when we identified, when we see the correct bird identification based on the district wise, we can clearly see that farmers from the Chitwan identified all birds more and common birds more than the other districts. So similarly, the farmers from the Sarlai districts identified less birds than the other districts. However, when we see the threatened bird species, it clearly shows that farmers from the Kapilvastu region identified more threatened bird species than the Chitwan districts. Similarly, when we combine these two districts as Chitwan and Sunsari as protected area, and Kapilvastu and Salai as non-protected area, it clearly shows that although farmers from protected area identified more birds, but farmers from the non-protected areas identified more threatened species. And there is also the correlation between the number of farmers identifying, number of farmers seeing the birds, and also correctly identifying with the abundance of the respective birds in the field. That means if there is high abundance of birds in their area, then there is high chance of identifying them. Similarly, when we so similarly, when we identify, or when we know, evaluate the population trends on the 15 bird species, it clearly shows that 48% of the farmers said that bird populations are declining in their area, while only 11% of the farmers said that they are increasing in their area. So when we go with the species wise, it clearly shows that woolly neck species is the most threatened species or most declining species based on the lesser adjutant. Similarly, bunting species, these species are the highly declining based on the farmers, and 98% of farmers do not know the conservation status of the 15 bird species that we showed. And almost all farmers said that no one had conducted any bird awareness programs or activities in their localities. Similarly, so socio-ecological, we also identify the socio-ecological variables impacting the farmers' knowledge on bird identification, and it clearly shows that gender and bird usefulness are the two important socio-ecological factors that will help in to determine the factors affecting the knowledge on bird identification. That means male identified more species, and similarly, those farmers who knew birds are useful, they have more knowledge on the bird species. Similarly, when we see about the conflict creating birds, most of the farmers said that they like the birds, but still some of the farmers said that birds create conflict, and it is mostly due to the crop raiding. 86% of the farmers said that birds like parakeet help in crop raiding. And similarly, 14% of the farmers said that birds also kill the poultry. And one of the interesting results we got is that farmers most liking and disliking birds is the parakeet. Means most of the farmers like parakeet bird, and similarly most of the farmers dislike the parakeet birds. Similarly, threats to the farmland bird communities. When we identified or when we classified the threats, it clearly shows that hunting and trade, pesticides, and lack of nesting tree as the most common threats to the farmland bird communities in lowland Nepal. Similarly, when we see the threats based on the district wise, it clearly shows that threats are more in the Sarlai districts and in the Sunsari districts. Although it is a protected area, the threats are also more in these districts. And when we compare about the protected and non-protected area, still protected area also has the higher threats than non-protected area. Only the 19% of the interviewed farmers admitted hunting of birds themselves, and 86% of the farmers say that bird hunting is done in their locality mostly by the children and all age groups. And usually when we talk about the communities, there are some semi-nomadic communities like North, some Muslims, they migrate to different places and hunt birds in their locality. We also inquire about the knowledge on the farmers about the bird hunting is illegal or not, bird hunting practice is illegal or not, whether they know that bird hunting is illegal or not. And we found that 65% of the farmers were unaware that bird hunting is illegal in Nepal. They know that killing a wild boar or killing deer is illegal in Nepal, but they don't know that killing a bird is also similar offense. They don't know that. So when we see compare this status with the district wise, it also clearly shows that people in the Chitwan, even people living in the Chitwan, also do not know that bird hunting is illegal in Nepal. Large number of the people in Chitwan also do not know that it is illegal in Nepal, and similarly, when we compare about the protected and non-protected areas, it still shows that non-protected area people also do not have also do not know that bird hunting is illegally in Nepal. So, but in case of the Kapilvastu and Sarlai, there are many people that they don't know that bird hunting is illegally in Nepal. So when let's summarize this study, and on summarizing, we can show that farmers have inadequate knowledge on bird names at species level, nest observation, conservation status, ecosystem services, and illegality of the bird hunting. An increase in abundance of the birds can increase in farmers' knowledge and on bird identification. Similarly, hunting, pesticides, and lack of nesting tree are the main threats to the farmland bird communities. And all these studies can show that government and other conservation organizations have not sufficiently implemented conservation programs on farmland birds. So the next step is that there should be the studies related to the birds' cultural relations and the signification, and there is also the need of understanding the networks and drivers of the farmland birds hunting in Nepal, and similarly identifying the marginalized communities and providing livelihood options against the bird hunting. Similarly, threatened birds nest monitoring program is also essential in lowland Nepal, when we should identify the places where there are threatened species, and we can also provide some incentives to the local people to monitor the nest of that species. So, and besides that, there is a highly need of conservation programs through different activities or through different types like school curriculum programs is highly essential, and we should also provide information about the ecosystem services and importance and threats to the birds, to the all school children and to the communities. So on overall, there is highly need of farmland bird conservation programs collaborating with the farmers for the farmland bird conservation in lowland Nepal. So this is the end of my presentation, and I would like to thank all the people that helped for this research, and SMCRF for providing opportunities for presenting my research on this seminar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kotwal. Is there any question? If you have any question, please write down in the chat option available there. I think everyone is clear, and I have few questions.
Yes, yes, please.
Um, are there any policies being made by the government for the conservation of uh, farmland birds, or are there any plans? Is local government or government planning for the conservation of farmland birds?
As far as my knowledge, there are some action plans or some policy just for the few species, like if you say about the vultures, or if you say about the florican, although they depend on the farmland. But on overall, when we talk about the overall farmland bird communities, as far as my knowledge, there is no any conservation policies related to the farmland birds in Nepal.
Okay, I have another question. Is raw data publicly available? If not, do you have plan for it?
Which kind of the raw data? This interview data?
Maybe, I don't know. It's not clarified. All kinds of raw data.
In case of this is just the interview data. In case of my other data, like my farmland bird survey program, most probably I will provide species data. Yeah, species data on when my paper published. I'll provide this species data. Yeah, I'll make all my data open access. Yeah, as far as possible. Yeah.
Um, I have few more questions.
Yes.
Since like no one is asking, I think I can. Dai, can you move on to slide number 22?
Slide number 22. 22, 22, 22. Yeah, this one.
Can you please explain this again? I did
Yeah,
not.
okay. This is the graph about the correct bird identification by the people living in Chitwan, Kapilavastu, Sarlai, and Sunsari. And this shows that all birds, that is, all birds means the common birds and threatened birds. And it shows that Chitwan people from the, or farmers from the Chitwan and Kapilavastu identified the more birds than other districts. That is, Sarlai identified the less number of the bird species. And when we talk specifically about the common birds, that is also the same trend. But when we talk about the threatened bird species, farmers from the Chitwan identified less than the Kapilavastu. So that is, the Kapilavastu identified the more species, and similarly the farmers from the Solar identified more threatened species than the Sunsari districts. But and when we compare this as a protected area and outside protected area and non-protected area, it shows that farmers from the non-protected area identified more threatened species, while from farmers from the protected area identified overall bird species and the common bird species. And there is the relations between the farmers identifying birds. Means if there are more abundant birds in their field, there is chances of identifying or chances of seeing those birds is higher.
Okay, thank you. I have another question from the audience. Can we say Chitwan farmers identified more birds can be linked with tourism activities?
Yes, we can link that with the tourism activity also, but still there are local NGOs like Chitwan Bird Education Society, and they have also implemented different conservation programs. Yes, we can link tourism activities, and because of that, local conservation organization effort also.
Another question, that have you also quantified the crop damage or any other damages that these farm birds do at household level?
No, we this time I have not quantified any damages caused by these birds. However, it can be also one of the topic for future studies. Yeah, but for me, I have not quantified yet.
Another question then. Why is the larger species more vulnerable or threatened than smaller species?
Because larger species, if they have the specific, they need the specific nesting habitat. Because now in farmlands, most of the large nesting trees are cut down by the farmers for different commercial purpose or different types of developmental activities. These trees were highly cut off. and that is one of the reason. And another is the hunting of the species, because large species are easy to locate and they are easy to be hunted. So that is also the main reason for their declining.
Questions are being flowed again.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
Can we say that non-protected areas contains more threatened birds than protected areas?
This is actually this is I'm also still not sure this is true or not. But when we see in case of the Chitwan, there are many threatened species. And in case of the Sunswari, also more threatened species are there. But we cannot. But our results say that people from the non protected area are identified more threatened species. In our case, it might be due to that. It's mainly due to the Saras strain, because Saras strains are highly concentrated in the Kapilvastu region, and most of the farmers identified from those regions, but they are not highly identified, or they were not known by the people from the other districts. Yeah, but we cannot currently say that it's the threatened that non-protected areas have more threatened species. But in our case, it's mostly because of the Saras strain.
One more question there. As you have mentioned about threats, are these threats you mentioned on questionnaire survey, or you made a threat assessment in field and quantified as well?
Now, this is entirely based on the farmer's perception.
I have a question again.
Yeah, okay.
Why do they like parakeet? Why do the farmers like parakeet? And if they don't like it, why do they don't like parakeet?
It's like that. Parakeets, they pet parakeet. They keep the parakeet as a pet, and parakeet makes sound, human sound, and they make a song like that. So by considering those things, they people think that okay, I like the parakeet most. But when large number of the parakeets feed their crops, and they don't like that. So the main reason is that crop feeding by parakeets, so they dislike it. But if you forget that part, then they are very good looking, their sounds are beautiful, so they like the parakeet most. So it shows that it depends on their services provided by the species. Yeah.
And by poultry killing, did you mean fish farming, or like what kind of poultry were you talking about?
It's about the killing chicken, domestic chicken, dogs, like the raptor species, mostly by the raptor species.
One last question from my side. Since conservation, except for awareness campaign, is there any way out to like both to take like by is there any way out to not affect the livelihood, or not have any impact on farmers livelihood, and conserve farmland birds, except for the awareness campaign?
Sorry, very exactly 1 second.
कन्जर्भेसन क्याम्पेन हुन्छ नि, अवेरनेस क्याम्पेन बाहेक अरू कुनै मेथड छ जसले गर्दा चाहिँ लाइभलीहुड, फार्मर्सको लाइभलीहुडमा पनि इम्प्याक्ट नपर्ने अनि फार्मल्यान्ड बर्ड्स पनि कन्जर्भ हुने टेक्निकल मेथडहरू त्यस्तो छ?
फर्स्ट भनेको त के गर्न सकिन्छ भन्दाखेरि स्कुल लेभलबाट वी शुड स्टार्ट दिस एज अ स्कुल लेभल. हाम्रो करिकुलमहरूबाट चाहिँ सानैबाट के गर्न सकिन्छ भन्दाखेरि स्टुडेन्ट्सहरूलाई चाहिँ आफ्नो लोकल एरियाको लोकल गभर्मेन्टहरूले चाहिँ के गर्न सक्छ भन्दाखेरि उनीहरूको एरियामा पाइने बर्ड्सहरू के हुन्, यिनीहरूको थ्रेट्स अवस्था कस्तो छ, यिनीहरूलाई हामीलाई फाइदा के छ भनेर चाहिँ सानैदेखि नै बिस्तारै स्टुडेन्टहरूलाई चाहिँ सिकाउँदै गयो भने चाहिँ के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि त्यो बिस्तारै नलेज ट्रान्सफर हुँदै जान्छ. अनि त्यसरी त्यो तरिकाबाट गर्यो भने चाहिँ एउटा बेस्ट हो. त्यो अवेरनेस तत्कालै लार्ज अमाउन्ट अफ अवेरनेस गर्नु पर्दैन, तर त्यसको लागि त यो हामीले चाहिँ करिकुलममा चाहिँ इन्भेस्ट गर्नै पर्ने हुन्छ. र अनि अरू भनेको चाहिँ अब हाम्रो अब के भन्न सकिन्छ भन्दाखेरि अर्को यो थ्रेट एन्ड बर्ड मोनिटरिङ प्रोग्रामहरू पनि ल्याएर चाहिँ अनि अब मानिलिउँ कुनै पनि एरियामा चाहिँ थ्रेटेन बर्ड्स छ र त्यो एरियामा चाहिँ त्यहाँको लोकल फार्मरलाई चाहिँ इन्सेन्टिभ दिएर नोमिनल इन्सेन्टिभ दिएर चाहिँ त्यो बर्डलाई चाहिँ मोनिटरिङ गर्नको लागि चाहिँ हेल्प गर्यो भने त्यसरी पनि चाहिँ बर्डहरूको चाहिँ कन्जर्भेसन गर्न सकिन्छ।
That also a question, sir. Do you think that after awareness programs about the farmland birds to the community, we will be able to conserve these farmland birds?
For that, there is always need to do continuous awareness program, continuous monitoring program पनि गर्नु पर्यो। साथसाथै हामीले फार्मल्यान्ड बर्ड्सको अवस्था कस्तो छ भनेर एनदर साइन्टिफिक साइटमा चाहिँ मोनिटरिङ गर्नु पर्यो र अर्को भनेको चाहिँ कन्टिन्युअस चाहिँ त्यसलाई के गर्नु पर्यो, हामीले अवेरनेस प्रोग्राम चाहिँ गरिरहनु पर्यो। आज अवेरनेस प्रोग्राम गरेर अब 4-5 वर्ष गरेन अनि फेरि गर्यो भने चाहिँ अनि मान्छेसँग स्टिल त्यो नलेज बाँकी छ भन्नु चाहिँ रङ हुन्छ। किनभने there are different local organizations like Bird Education Society, Kosi Bird Society. They have been doing lots of awareness program in their localities. त्यसै गरी त्यहाँ मैले अघि पनि एउटा बजेटिङ देखाएँ, देयर आर लार्ज नम्बर अफ द थ्रेटेन्ड बर्ड्सको चाहिँ बजेट चाहिँ इन्भेस्टमेन्ट भएको छ र अलमोस्ट अल दोज रिसर्चमा चाहिँ अवेरनेस चाहिँ एउटा के छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ एक्टिभिटी छ। सो अवेरनेस चाहिँ जहिले पनि एकचोटि गरेर पुग्दैन, इट सुड बी भेरी रेगुलर गरेकै गर्यो भने चाहिँ आफ्टर सम इयर्स चाहिँ इट विल हेल्प इन दि कन्जर्भेसन अफ दि बर्ड्स। र अवेरनेसले मात्रै पुग्दैन, मैले अघि भनेको जस्तै अरू एउटा प्याकेज कार्यक्रम लिएर आउनु पर्यो। त्यो प्याकेजले चाहिँ त्यो फार्मर्स र फार्मल्यान्ड बर्ड्सको चाहिँ रिलेसनलाई अझ स्ट्रङ बिल्डअप गर्न सकोस्। त्यो गर्यो भने चाहिँ अवश्य पनि कन्जर्भेसनको लागि चाहिँ हेल्प हुन्छ।
Okay, I think these are all the questions we have. Thank you, Hindai, for an interesting presentation. And now moving on, I would like to request our founder president, Sanjan Bahadur Thapa, for closing remarks. And having said that, I would like to wish everybody goodbye and namaste. Over to you, Sanjan Bhai.
Thank you, Swechha. Well, I'll just like to correct your saying that actually I'm not a founding president of SNCRF. I'm just a one of the co-founders of SNCRF. Thank you very much, Dr. Him, for your very nice presentation. And it was your thesis, PhD thesis, actually looks into an overlooked scenarios in the bird conservation issues in Nepal, which is very important from the point of view that not only the species that are highlighted as a threatened, not only the forest species or the species in the higher Himalayas, but also the Tarai birds are also endangered or threatened due to the farmland association for its foraging areas, for the resting as well as for its nesting purposes. We very simply to understand, we know that a larger proportion of the land in the Tarai region is the farmlands or the agricultural landscape. So in that context, of course, the bird species, several species of birds rely as the habitat in these areas, but most of the bird species hasn't been attended or hasn't been paid attention towards the conservation related with the farmland species. And your PhD thesis has put on a step into this arena. Starting from a very interesting fact from your thesis is that a larger species are more threatened than the smaller species. For example, you just highlighted that the passerines and the non-passerines, especially in the parakeet, the parakeets are the most nuisance-creating species for the farmers, especially because of the larger proportion of the crop reading. But on the other hand, there are some species which are very important or benefiting even to the farmers and to the ecosystems, such as the uh, lesser adjutant. So, because of the parakeets, other 5 threatened species and other vulnerable or other endangered species are also on target of the retaliation by the farmers. However, the bird species such as the parakeets in one hand, and the other species such as drongo. I think you haven't included drongo for your thesis, but there are some other species which are also relied on the farmlands for their habitat, not only the foraging, not only for the resting, but also uh, their prime habitats. Uh, so there are several threats which you have mentioned during your research, from your research, and especially the pesticides, loss of the trees or the larger, I mean the higher trees, especially for the nesting and the resting, and also act as the habitat of this species for most of their time period, if it's not migrating. And those species has been under threat because of the heavy use of pesticides, loss of the trees, and another most important factor is the unawareness amongst the farmers and the communities which are dependent on the farmlands. So um, so there is a very dire need of the monitoring program that should be initiated, including the initiative for the crop rating, and also the continuous awareness program, collaborating with the farmers as a stakeholder, uh, and also with the national level organizations and the government agencies, is at the top priorities. However, these issues has been overlooked for now, and it should be taken forward by the next level of our researchers or our um, um, the public societies or the young our young university level students, not only to carry out the research, but also to mainstream the policy regarding the conservation of the farmland species. So thank you very much, him. I think in a short, just to make understand the people how this research is a very impactful for the conservation of the species, other than the highlighted species so far in the context of Nepal, is that the farmland species are also uh, under grave threat than other species which has been getting attention so far. So we have to move forward and work on these species also. And the more important thing from your thesis is that uh, just because of the crop raiding by a few species, just a few species, we cannot overlook into the conservation of the some other larger species which hasn't been um, uh, taken consideration by the government agencies. And there is another interesting fact from your thesis, is that uh, even the communities residing near the protected areas doesn't have enough knowledge, or doesn't have good, I mean, lack the awareness regarding the bird species, and not only to identify the bird species, but also they don't have any information regarding the nesting and other, I mean, and other information regarding these species. um, and there are more conflicts in those areas, not only outside the area, but also near to, I mean, not only far away from the protected area, but also near to the protected areas. So we cannot say that the because of the protected area, the bird species will be protected, uh, uh, but we have to consider that the bird conservation activities or bird conservation schemes or programs should be targeted for a long monitoring level and for a longer time, and also in a larger landscapes, not only in a very targeted, specifically targeted areas, but to a broader landscape or a larger landscape level. So thank you very much, Dr. Him, for your very nice and interesting presentation. And I'm very happy to be the part of this and to learn about the bird species which hasn't been taken into consideration so far now. And I wish that our young generation will take a step into this arena and take the research as well as the conservation initiative to a new height. Thank you very much for this opportunity to highlight and to wrap up Dr. Haim's thesis, PhD thesis and presentation for today. Thank you very much.